Here on India Today, we have the privilege of being joined by Dr. Jayanti Datta. She's a very well-known criminal psychologist. Dr. Datta, good to have you with us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I know these are very complex and nuanced issues, ma'am, so I don't want to even for a moment think that there are any easy, packageable answers. But from your many years of experience, and I'm sure you've dealt with cases like this as well in the past, what would be your assessment of something like this, ma'am? Mumbai, middle-class, couple, no criminal history whatsoever, no apparent, no apparent tension. We don't know what happened in the house, but at least no indicators of any kind of violent behavior of this kind. What do you make of it, ma'am?
See, these kind of heinous crimes comes from your very organized planning and overconfidence about your ability to get away with it. Now, when you see these kind of things happening in media, that gets more strengthened, that, well, these are the ways. Mind you, all these criminal propensities, there are perpetrators who wait and hang on to these minute details of modus operandi, and they don't hesitate. They feel they can get away with it. Now you see the advancement. Here in Shraddha's case, those parts were thrown. Here the man has gone one step further. He's boiled it in the cooker to ensure that, there is no possibility for any identification, and he's feeding them to the dogs. Now this remorseless, these kind of mindless, gruesome things one can give or get to this kind of a thing only when he is living through this day in and day out. It's not just once, you out of rage you did it. No, these are all very planned things, and these are minute details you will find out. I teach interrogation to the officers, and I'm sure if the interrogation is done properly and we take into consideration the kinesics of the perpetrator, very often they're very clever, and unfortunately they are also very educated sometimes and intelligent. So their deliberation of the details are also very well organized. But the kinesics give away. So if we do the videography, which I'm sure the officers will do it, and you will be able to get through certain, breakthrough things which, because this man might not have done this for the first time. The smaller amount of crimes, they have been doing it on a day-to-day basis, and they get away with it. And that's how the intensity, the confidence of giving end to this kind of a barbaric murdering and then carrying it on comes. They have no remorse. They don't have any feeling that they have done something bad. Because of this remorselessness, because of this ability of the criminals to dissociate themselves with the people, with the victim they kill. So their emotional thing is just a facade, they just tell it. And they just don't have that kind of bonding with anyone for that matter.
But Dr. Datta, I have a small query to you make based on what you just said. Why do you say, Dr. Datta, that this doesn't appear to be, something that was done in a fit of rage? Is it not possible that I am not a lawyer or a forensic scientist, but you know much better than me. I just wanted to be clear about that. Why do you say it's not possible for it to be, and it has to be premeditated?
See, the modus operandi, he had to have the cutter, and he has already made up a story that this woman had committed a suicide. Now, all these things, you see the bucket, you see the plan which he's been carrying on. He was so confident that, nobody will be able to raise a finger, because all of them, if you see, they have certain commonalities. They use the perfumes, intense this thing, so that they can dispel the stench. Similarly, they carry on with their daily routine as if nothing has happened. And they enter. The saddest part of my realization is they all live in our communities. You can't identify who is capable of this kind of a pathological, heinous butchery, because they are one of us. and it's very difficult to find out.
Yeah.
See, for Shraddha's
That's the
case,
most disturbing.
he was in the community. And,
Hmm.
you know, unfortunately, in the metropoles, nowadays nobody has the time to find out what the other person is doing. So they are
Very
more
true.
confident. They get away with it. And, you know, my complaint is we have the laws, but the implementation takes years. See,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Nirbhaya's card, 8 years. Shraddha's case, we don't know how long we'll fight. And you know, when you have these kind of offenses committed, if you don't give a hardline statement that this is the punishment and we will not wait, we have the evidences, we have the proof, your forensic evidences will be good enough to, you know, give the punishment to this kind of people, this kind of perpetrator.
Yes.
Unless and until this is done, it will continue. Because
Dr.
the perpetrator, yes,
Dr.
yes,
Datta,
please.
one final question, if I may, you know, you mentioned the Shraddha Walkar case. There are some, you know, persons in the Mumbai police who don't want to be identified because the investigation has just started, you know, who are saying that this man who killed his live-in partner, you know, was aware of the Shraddha Walkar case, which is understandable. Everybody was watching the news those days, and I'm sure because there was blanket national media coverage of the Shraddha Walkar case. Explain to us and our viewers, Dr. Datta, how that also plays a role. You know, people are watching, you know, the modus operandi of other killers and are becoming aware. The reason I'm asking that also is out of concern because we as media also cover these things in great detail. Is that also a factor, ma'am?
No, I don't think so. Had the media not covered it, probably it will not be brought to the notice of the public.
Yes,
It
that's
will
true.
go unnoticed, you know. We are able to render justice, we are able to book this kind of offenses or perpetrator because of the media.
Glad to
I
hear that, yes.
appreciate that. But to delay these kind of punishments, you know, the perpetrator gets an idea. See, their superego, you said they will be taking help of the psychoanalyst. The superego component, which is a component of your persona, which tells you, it doesn't mean that none of us are really having that kind of criminal propensity, maybe not to that intensity, but you know, we don't get into the offensive mode because of the superego dictates. Don't do this, this is right, this is wrong. In these kind of cases, their superego is very, very weak. And you know, they filter this information, the other person has done this, so I will do a better job than what has been done in my previous case.
Yeah.
Look at this. So this is not only chopped, see, chopping of the body, keeping it in the refrigerator happened in Delhi in another case also, in case of Nikki. So they have taken this notice, they have taken this lesson that you can chop off the body, keep it in the refrigerator,
Very scary.
dispose it off at your own
And
sweet will.
Dr. Datta, that kind of information is also, you know, I'm just trying to, this is so disturbing because, you know, disposing of a body, I imagine, must be difficult. It's not easy to get rid of a human body. Chopping up a body, if you are not criminally inclined, must be a traumatizing, you know, thing to have to do anyway. So, you know, with access to the internet and the media and you know, all manner of material online, I'm sure there must be guidebooks on how to do this kind of thing, criminal activity. So it's scary that you know, even someone who may not have a criminal background has access to all this information.
Yes, yes, but that mindset is always there, you know.
Yeah, that's what you're
everybody cannot follow it up. If you have that mindset, if you go into Shraddha's case, he used to go to certain sites, take the lessons, see how did he get to know that these are the chemicals which I should be using. This is the shop where from I should buy the murder weapon.
Okay.
This is the shop where from I said that, you know, Shraddha's case, it was not just the murder, it's the money angle also. And in this case also, I will say, you said that two people are there, you know, who's been coming and meeting him, etc. I think the interrogation should also take them into the consideration, find out what kind of mentality this man had. Because this cannot happen all of a sudden, you know. This kind of, yes, of course.
Absolutely.
There must have been a planning, there must have been some kind of offensive outbreaks, you know, which they get away with. And then
You've
they
given
give...
us, Dr. Datta, you've given us a great deal to think about. Some of it is, most of what you've told us is something that is of a very disturbing nature, because this is unfamiliar to most of us. You as someone who, operates in this field, obviously this is your subject, and I hope to hear more from you as we cover this story going forward. I'm glad you said that media attention is for the good, because the public needs to know about these things, but at the back of one's mind, one also worries about all of these details out in the public domain and the modus operandi of killers. We will keep in touch with you, Dr. Datta. I very much appreciate your time and your expertise on this gruesome story. Thank you very much for joining us.